Hello, how goes it, my friend? How are you doing there, huh? How is your consumption of Tukuriada? If you are into the game, then you are really commenting. I enjoy those moments. I enjoy the exchange program of your intellectual understanding of athletics. I respect that. I give you thumbs up sometimes. I comment at the bottom, maybe to continue interrogating the subject of Tukuriada, because that's what we do, engaging. I appreciate that. The comments are coming as I enjoy reading them. I enjoy interacting with you in every corner you are in this universe. It's a great world to be in. Let's celebrate life, shall we? Because life is beautiful, even outside sports. I think if you really have a moment to gaze and be at awe at the stars, the wind, the beauty, the breeze, the sunshine, the breathing. Think about it. If there was no breathing, there was no athletics. It's all about oxygen consumption, intake and outtake. How efficient are you to be an athlete? That scientific base has to be very good. People are studying it. People are figuring out how to get an edge. Some people are doing it more natural. Some people are just trying to get shortcuts. Talking of shortcuts, another Kenyan bites the dust. Another Kenyan joins the rest of them in the Hall of Shame that have established. There's gonna be a what I call it, it's not even a mountain, it's not even a hill, it won't be anything but it's a Hall of Shame because we are getting these athletes who are not trusting their bodies. They are driven by greed, and I think people will give excuses to hardship, that I come from a corrupt country like Kenya, and so I'm going to perpetuate corruption in athletics. You're going to be busted, and the next victim here, not the victim, but the next Hall of Shamer here has been paraded, and let's put their names out there. 26-year-old runner by the name of Judy. Is it Judy? Judy Jelagat Kemboi. She joins the rest of those guys who have been paraded as embarrassing to the sport. I hope there's integrity in the investigation and the suspensions that are coming hard and fast on these athletes. Yes, Judy Jelagat Kemboi of Kenya tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs, namely hydrochlorothiazide. It's supposed to be something that's used clinically by the doctor's prescription. It has some good medicinal value, supporting the kidneys and all that, according to experts in the clinical online that I've read. But it's been found to be a masking agent when it comes to the police of dopers around the world, that athletes use this to mask what they might be hiding that could be a drug that is banned. And so here goes another Hall of Shamer, Judy Jelagat Kemboi. What was she good at? She ran a personal best in 2024 in marathon, Copenhagen half marathon at 65:43. And again, she has a 10K of 30:29. But all that is being flushed down the toilet. To the Hall of Shame she goes. And she was suspended provisionally by the Kenyan Athletic Drug Agency. And for me, I think this just, it's another shame. It is. And I don't know how to talk about. I think I've spent some time asking myself why we're having so many athletes in Kenya being paraded in the Hall of Shame. But there you have it. The other time it was Ruth Chemgetich. Apparently she had the same substance in her system when she was found to have ran 2:09:56 in marathon, and yet she had some things that were kind of contaminated, compromised, and the integrity wasn't found in a biological system. So there you have it, boys and girls in Kenya and everybody else. Another shame, another Hall of Shamer. And I'll finish my Tukuriada today. There's a downer to my Tukuriada today. It's kind of, when you're thinking of human beings, we are complex to beginning, right? And then we have values, right? And then those values define how we navigate the world. And sometimes we compromise them. Sometimes we just try to find shortcuts on how do I win money, how do I beat someone in a race, do I win this race with all my values intact, that I did this the right way. And if you come from a system that you say is corrupt, then you are saying you are contaminated too, and you've been infected by corruption. Or you can claim, oh man, if I didn't cheat, I won't be having this Prado driving down street in Eldoret, Nairobi. Look what I made, millions of dollars, but yet you cheated. There you have it. That's human complexity. Excuse. And I'm not saying I'm speaking from what I call a righteous, saintly mountain, that I'm speaking here like, look at me. I'm just interrogating subjects as a fan, an observer, a human being, and asking those questions. But there you have it. Judy, Jelagat, Kemboi, another Hall of Shamer. Ingebrigtsen, the father of Jacob Ingebrigtsen, I've given this space, I've given them a space in my, I think I started when they went to court. Even before that, I've been a big fan of Jacob Ingebrigtsen, the Norwegian, the 5,000 meter gold medalist, and the world record holder in the mile in the indoor 344. He holds that. A man that track and field really enjoy watching when he's at his best. But again, we find out that family feuds, family fallouts, rivalry, I don't know what it is, but something within families can really give us a glimpse into the fact that families are never perfect. I didn't come from one of those. I don't want to talk about my story, but Jacob, father, spoke. He had an interview in New York Times that after the case where he was convicted, I think, of having done something to the daughter, that the court found him liable. I don't know, he was fined, or does he go in jail? That's not the issue. But he spoke the other day, and some of the statements he made were profound by itself. Was he apologetic? He was. But the one that caught my eye was, he said that what is done as a coach. That's where I started to say. He said, as a coach, when you were as the head of a coach, I'll have it my way. And that's the only way I know. Interesting. I think there's something else he said about, of course, the other thing he said is that, of course, there's a winner when it comes to the verdict and the outcome of the case, he says. I'm partly responsible. He says that I will never talk about this in a victorious way. It sounds remorseful. I beat you and I won the case. For me, this is over, finished. I'm really sorry for having to have this trial. He said the right things. He seems to say the right things. I think I cannot really be the one trying to dissect and pick every word he says and all that. But I think there's one thing that he talks about, being a coach and having his way, and the fact that he can never change from that. I think that is the thing about certain people who are coaches, who are having to be a coach and a father. How do they know when they're a father, and when do they know whether they are coaches? And the question I usually have as a coach that I've been before, when do you know you've crossed a line that is abusive and you're just being a dictator? You are being almost psychopathic, where you are not even hearing the athlete. You're just telling them, this is my way, or the highway, so to speak. So there's a fallout here from Ingebrigtsen family. It's a story that they are scarred with, I believe. I don't know whether there's be any way of redeeming this one, but I was just trying to understand being a coach and being a father and coaching your own son or a daughter. Fine line. I tried that with my daughter maybe in the beginning. It seems not to work very well, honestly. That mixing it sometimes is a very, very challenging undertaking, and how this one seems to have unfolded is weird in itself, to a point whereby the children felt he was abusive in his approach and how he dictated things and how he was very hard on them. I mean, that's what the young runners of Jakob and the sister and the Philip have talked about, how they couldn't breathe, so to speak. I don't know. I think I'm just talking about what he said, and of course, this family will be in the news in one way or another. I hope for the good things, not the bad things. Um, is there a redemptive route on this one? Is time will tell. But I hope Jakob, our athlete, not our athlete, but the athlete we want to see in World Championship, finds a way out of this, finds a way to get on the track, and maybe it will be a healing process for him, because sometimes you need that channel, you need something to do. Most of the best athletes, you'll find out, they go when they are in the track. When they're on the track, they feel liberated. They feel they are free to express themselves, their emotions. Because part of the sports is a very emotional thing. It's not just, that's why you see a lot of things happening. So I think the reason why I wanted to talk about the Ingebrigtsen family is because it's sad. Let's just leave it at that. It's very sad that this happened, but it's the dark side of families. And I don't think they are exclusive, they're not the exception. Families are families. And sometimes when they're in the news, we think, oh, well, let's find out more. I'm not that person. I usually hold back my comments on families because it's a complex world. I really don't have enough. You really don't know. We're just hearing things. Some things are very disturbing. If somebody is getting emotionally abused and they're saying they were abused and nobody heard them, and mostly children, because I think parents can be very strong and powerful and overwhelming. They are gods. And when somebody says, when I'm a coach, you do it my way, that's a very strong statement. That's a very dictatorial, very non-negotiable way of approaching. And I don't know how you balance that as a father and as a coach. Maybe that was a tragedy of being both. And he had to deal with boys and a girl that sometimes they wanted their freedom and their space and they couldn't do certain things. And again, that is the price you pay for doing both. Is he paying the ultimate price of being a father and a coach? It looks like it. But again, for me, I usually say maybe grace, maybe redemptive route might be found here. No idea. And I think for me, the most chilling things in this whole story is the silence or the lack of us hearing from the mothers or the mother or the wife. To me, that is when somebody says my way or the highway, could it be, I'm just speculating here, that the mother was silenced? Or he's a patriarch, he's the old school guy, that things just happen because I say they happen because I'm the father and I'm the husband, I'm the coach, and you guys sit down and listen to me. Could it be? I'm just asking. And that sometimes happens in people who believe in the whole patriarchal of being a dictator. And we've seen some of them. And I'm just concerned when people get to that point whereby they don't listen to the athlete. They don't take their input. They can't even have a disagreement. That, to me, there's no democratic space in any arrangement. That is a dictatorship. That's just my observation. And I think I've started to see this with the older coaches a little bit, because they believe the old ways work. But they believe this generation is asking too much questions and challenging the status quo, and they feel threatened. So when somebody says something different, a different voice, there's a pushback from the old generation. And that, to me, can create cracks. It can create a monster. And it can create people who just think they are gods. They're not. They are human beings who they feel threatened. And some of these coaches and fathers, when their children ask them questions, they feel threatened. And that, to me, is just wrong. Because I think freedom allows people to give an opinion. And I think when somebody says that, when somebody just comes to a point whereby he believes that as a coach, I'll have it my way. That's the only way I know. That summarizes the person I'm talking about, the father of Jakob Ingebrigtsen. Even at the end of the whole thing, nothing has changed as far as it's concerned. It's sad. Anyway, that was me, Tuko Riada subscribers. My opinion on that case and the fallout of the Ingebrigtsen family. And then another Hall of Shamer joins the other Hall of Shamers in Doping Nation of Kenya. And it doesn't bode well for me. I don't like talking like that. But subscribers, tell me what you think. Being a coach and being a father or a mother, how does that balance out? There are very few cases, and most of them don't look good historically. Serena Williams and Venus had a father who was a coach. How did that go? Just saying. Talk to you later in Tukoriada Thonus. The other side of the pillow looks good, and love, maybe, love will cover all our sins. I said it. I'm not the original guy, but I said it. Talk to you later.